Have you ever wondered what would happen if we built our economy around what people actually need instead of, just what big companies want to sell us? Well, today we're looking at something called the SIFA Plan. It's this incredible global blueprint for doing just that. We're going to explore how this big digital idea has turned into something deeply human, right when the rise of AI makes this whole conversation more important than ever.
Okay, so here's our roadmap. First, we'll look at the original dream, the big vision. Then, we'll see how it made this huge pivot from being a digital platform to something that happens in real places. We'll get into how it actually works on the ground, its really unique take on AI, and finally, how this super personal local idea is actually designed to go global.
All right, to really get where this is all going, we have to start at the beginning. We need to rewind a bit and look at the first, really ambitious blueprint, which was called the SIFA Plan.
So at its heart, the SIFA Plan, which stands for Social Innovation for the Future of All, came from this UN-affiliated group called the Commons Cluster. And it was, frankly, a pretty radical idea. It was all about completely rethinking how our economy works, moving away from a system that pretty much encourages waste and overproduction, and shifting to one that directly helps us and the planet. The first version of this was built on three really powerful ideas. First, a marketplace that wasn't driven by ads, but by what people actually said they needed. Second, what they called a contribution economy, where you could earn credits for doing really valuable stuff that our current system just ignores, like mentoring a kid or cleaning up a local park. And third, and this was a big one, a non-negotiable sustainability requirement for absolutely everything. Now, what's so fascinating here is you can see the early thinking. It was very tech-focused, very much a product of its time. It was imagined as this highly structured digital platform. The logic is all there, right? Create an account, use these SIFA credits, list your service, and have it approved by some central system. It's clean, it makes sense, but it's all happening behind a screen. But here's the thing. A purely digital solution, no matter how smart it is, almost always bumps up against the messy, beautiful reality of real life. And that's exactly what happened here. It led to this really critical shift in the whole plan, a pivot towards something way more grounded. And this quote, this just nails the turning point. It's this deep realization that you just can't build real trust or community through clicks and code. There was this fear that even with the best intentions, they'd just create another system that pulled value out of communities instead of helping them build it from the inside. So this is the big pivot, right here. The whole philosophy had to flip from a system that cared most about digital efficiency to one that put human relationships first. The goal wasn't a perfect platform anymore. It was a resilient community. It was this huge move away from a top-down plan to something that could grow naturally from the bottom up. And this is where a group called UnityNet comes into the picture. The way it's described is perfect. If the SIFA Plan is this amazing visionary destination for a better economy, then UnityNet is the group building the actual bridge to get us there from where we are right now. They're the ones making it happen on the ground. Okay, so let's get into how this whole thing actually looks in the real world. The framework uses this fantastic term, Livingry, which are the tools and practices that support life, as the total opposite of weaponry, which is all about scarcity and conflict. So how do you actually build with Livingry? And this is the secret sauce. It's called the trust algorithm. And just look at what's number one. It doesn't start with downloading an app or creating a login. It starts with a bench, a real physical place to just sit and talk. This simple order is so radical because it completely flips the usual tech model on its head. Technology, the infrastructure, is the absolute last step. You only bring it in after a real foundation of human trust is already there. So this is where the rubber really meets the road. You can see how those big, abstract goals get translated into actual tools. A new economy of care becomes a simple system for tracking things like mentoring or community gardening. Localized regenerative solutions becomes an actual climate-smart Thrive Hub or a peace garden. This is that bridge being built, piece by piece. Okay, so if the whole foundation is built on human trust and real-life conversation, that brings up a massive question for us today. Where in the world does something as powerful and maybe even scary as artificial intelligence fit into all this? I mean, this is basically the question of our time, isn't it? AI has this incredible potential to help us solve huge problems, but we all know it also has the risk of making things worse, of being used for control. Well, this human-first model doesn't just reject AI. Instead, it offers a really specific and honestly hopeful answer for how we can have a different kind of relationship with it. The framework lays out these two very different paths for AI. On one side, you've got the standard corporate model, which the sources call being trained on toxic internet scrapes, all the bias and noise from the web, and designed for control. But on the other side, you have what they call Wenelto AI. It's an AI that's raised by the village elders. It's only trained on verified, community-approved knowledge, and its only job is to serve. In this model, the AI is never the boss, it's the assistant. It's the drafter, not the decider. I love the metaphor they use, a digital canoe. They treat technology like this powerful vessel that can help the community get where it needs to go. So maybe the AI helps translate at a meeting or models rainfall to suggest when to plant crops, but, and this is the key part, the community always holds the paddle. The AI is a guest, never the landlord.
Okay, this all sounds really amazing for a single neighborhood or a small town, but the big question is, how does a system that starts with park benches and listening actually scale up to tackle huge global issues like climate change or economic inequality?
Well, the answer isn't what you'd expect, like a big corporate rollout. The idea is something they call gLocalization. It's about replicating a successful pattern, that trust algorithm, the one that starts with the bench, in all sorts of different places, and letting them adapt it to their own culture. It's not about forcing one solution on everyone, but about using the same human-first process everywhere. And this isn't just a theory. There are already pilot sites active from Kenya to Canada, creating these living labs and even pairing communities up to share what they're learning. At the end of the day, what this whole approach creates is pretty profound. By starting with these really small human actions, it builds up to a complete system of governance. It's a system where, like this quote says, our economy, our data, and our communities are all guided by a shared ethical compass that comes from the ground up. And that really brings us to the biggest takeaway from all this. In our world of faster and faster technology, where we're always looking for the next complex solution, maybe the most radical, the most practical, and the most hopeful innovation we have is actually the simplest one. What if the first step to changing everything is just to start with a bench?